a hot second. Like, I swear, it's always something. Y'all know I'm going to be doing some weird stuff when I start this thing up because it's never ready. Never ready. Hold on. I'm looking for my... This is irritating. I'll just use this one. I have a big old lighter. Like, I swear, if my child... Y'all know my child likes to come in and take my stuff. Likes to come in and take my stuff. And I'm like, where's my lighter? I think I know I got one. We're just going to start off with a new candle. Okay. Hope everybody's doing well. Let me change this to the live chat. So it looks like a okay, doka. Morning. Okay. So let me also... It's not weird and woo-woo if I don't act like I don't got my shit together when I first come on. I'll be doing all kinds of other stuff. I get distracted sometimes with the energies that are coming through, and then I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, I'm in my own little world. And then I just come live, and I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have done A, B, and C first. But I did not. So yay. Here we are. All right. I'm just letting everybody know. Because I can tell when YouTube doesn't alert everybody right away. Alrighty. So so there was a couple of songs that were coming through. One that I channeled earlier, which was, they shifted mid, like, getting ready and everything. And it was like, and it's only one sentence, and I think they said it was Billy Joel. It was like, for the longest time, oh, and I'm like, what the fuck? So that was going, and then it was, if you change your mind, it was, isn't it ABBA, like, Take a Chance on Me? Like, and I'm going, okay, but they, you know, sometimes you can go through the whole song and like be jamming to it yourself, and then, oh, my water. I'm telling you what, the spastic nature of this, of just getting started today, it's not even, like, there's a lot missing. It's not usually this bad. That's my moon water, by the way. I was looking for something before I came on here, and it was like, they were channeling the songs to me as I'm doing it. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I know I have it. I know this to be true. I know this. And so it's like, search, and I just can't find it. And it's like you couldn't convince me I didn't have this thing, or that I didn't know for a fact that it was here, or I didn't know for a fact that it was mine, or, you know, that like I was like, no, it's here. Like, I knew something for a fact, and for whatever reason couldn't find it. And so I'm just searching, and then they're doing all of that kind of stuff, right? And I was like, there's something to this. Like, the level of knowing, there's no convincing me otherwise. Like, I'm just like, okay. So there's something here, I think, that we might be touching on, where there's something you know to be so very true, and it just isn't in your material world, in your presence just yet. And so it's like, okay, hey, Manishka. And so, and like, you just can't let go of the fact that you know it to be true. Like, you're like, okay, I don't care if there's not evidence, but I know. And so there's something to the searching of it. And I don't know how that connects to the take a chance on me. To take a chance. It's just weird. We're going to find out, though. I felt like I was and I finally was just like, you know what? That's enough. And I just sat down to do the reading, which is probably the reason why I didn't know that my water was over there. My phone was over there. The lighter wasn't here. I was like, oh my God. So you may be focusing on just the absence of evidence of something that you know. You're like, no. It's almost like, you know, like when somebody tries to say, oh, I don't think so-and-so ever did. You're like, yeah, I know. And like, you can't prove it, but you're like, no, I fucking know. Like, you don't know. Like, I know. Or like, you know, like you pick something up from the grocery store You know what I mean? You come back home and you're like, this is, I had this, I got this, I know and like, you can't find it. You're like, no, I got it. Like I have it. I bought it. I put it in the bag. I remember putting it, like, where is it? And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Or like your crystals that go disappearing and you're like, I literally set it right here. And you could tear the house up, tear it up. You'd be lifting your mattress and everything. You're like, I know. And you're like, how is this even possible? So it's something that you are very just matter of fact about. And it's like, you're perplexed by its seeming absence. You're like, I don't get it. Like, I don't. It's almost one of those things where it's like, I'm wondering, they haven't given this to me yet, but I'm like, so if I stop looking, will it just poof appear? Because you know how that is, right? With your crystal, or like suddenly your child comes around the corner 2 days later with the thing you was looking for that you bought at the grocery store. You're like, where was that? Is there something to the not looking? Because that's just irritating. That is irritating. It's like, why was it taken to begin with? So I don't know. Let's find out, though. That's my little child. My child had made me a jellyfish, and this is like, that's the eyeball from his jellyfish, and he was really sad. Like, my child loves to do crafts and everything else like that, and like, it's like he's so proud of those things. He's a very artistic child, loves it, and so, you know, mommy has to fix everything. I can't lose the eyeball. Just letting you know. Oh, I think they finally came to get the trash. They did. Thank the Lord. Okay. I was hearing like a rumble outside, and then my phone buzzed. I'm like, they're about 3 days late. I don't know why, but they came finally. All right, where are we going first, Spirit? Where are we going first? And it's almost like you see my energy, like, ooh, 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 and that's kind of like how yours was. You can still hear my camera. I turned it off. You hear the birds? I turned my camera off. Why is it still making, like, it shouldn't be able to do that. That's a little scary, guys. Okay. That's something. You see how that was like evidence of something without being able to see it, kind of thing? I want to know what the fuck you're looking for. I want to know what this energy is. Give me just a second. Okay. Madame Endor's fortune telling. Got any plans, Manishka, for the weekend? Is it Saturday night there? I think it is. It's Saturday morning here. Hello. None of them feel like anything. I think that's more indicative of the energy, because I'm like, none of that feels like anything. Maybe there is something to the frenzy of being so convinced that something either should happen or is real, or being so convinced that something I know something for a fact, and it's like in the frenzy of trying to prove something, you get nowhere, right? You're just spreading your energy thin, and it's like maybe reserving that, like reining it back in. Let's see. Okay. Everything came out in twos. What assholes. Okay. We get real around here, okay? If you don't like that kind of language, you might not want to stick around. I don't know what you think. It's almost as if like you're so focused on this thing that you just know. And it's like it feels like, okay. Almost like when spirit's like, I'm going to take that from you because you're focusing on that too much. I want you to divert your energy somewhere else. Like they're saying it's a futile, quit. Like quit. Is this a past energy? I think you had to stop that. Like you were trying to make something happen. You were trying to force something. You were trying to prove it. You were trying to take control and make it so. Like forcing the hand of spirit or of nature. You knew it so much. I know this. This could be love. This could be all kinds of things. I'm meant to do this dream. I'm meant to whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But you knew it so much. And they're like, fate blocked this path for you. Like it got to a point where you couldn't prove anything because I don't know if that became your sole focus, that much like the cards went kersploosh, or the fact that when I started, everything was everywhere because I was searching. So I'm like, I know this. And they're just like, they give me the whole like the watched pot never boils type of thing. And I'm getting from you more like you're irritated by the idea of something being a surprise or having to wait for something when you know it's meant for you anyways. Like, why do I gotta do, like, why give me this understanding? Why give, me this whatever? Like, if I know it's mine, it's mine. Just let's do this kind of thing. Like, what is the intent? What is the purpose? And you weren't okay with just whenever. Like the idea of like, if I bought something at the fucking grocery store, I'm not resting until I find that damn thing. It pisses me off that it's like, oh, it'll just come up later. Like, what the fuck? Like, why? What is even the point? I think your energy is, what is even the point? You know something very much so to be true. And it's like, spirit's like, but that doesn't need to be your focus. Like, you don't need to be, like, you were putting too much energy into either trying to make something or trying to prove something, or it was like, I don't know, I get this irritated feeling. Like if somebody were to tell me, oh, but let it be a surprise. Bitch, it's not a surprise because I already know it's for me. So why? Like, this is stupid. It felt like a game to you and it was irritating. And so the more something was kept from you, the more you couldn't like put your finger on something, the more you couldn't prove it, the more you didn't see the evidence of it. You're like, am I going crazy? Like, what the fuck? I know. And so you just kept going. And it was like, it was intentional, like a crystal that fucking disappears. It's like, I don't know, I get this energy of something just was meant to wait. And so it's as if it was snatched from you, and that drove you fucking nuts. It drove you nuts. It could have literally completely disappeared from your life. It could be a person. It could be like this career path. And so every potential opportunity was taken. Like whatever it was, there was a reason it was blocked. That path was blocked. But I don't think you ever got rid of the idea or notion something either was free, or this knowing. Like it never went away because your perseverance is going to be rewarded. Something was taken from your life that you knew to be true, for a fucking fact. And it's like you never gave up on the, I know that. So what the fuck? You may have kept going through life in your day to day, but that knowing never stopped. And now they're saying the forces of nature favor you, and you're going to have rejuvenation and fulfillment from this. So what was blocked that you knew for a fucking fact, that you just could feel? It's not even like, you probably went through all stages of grief with this, right? Like anger, sadness, rage, what is the one where it's like apathy and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And you're just like, whatever. And it was like, what is the fucking point of me knowing something for a fact? What was the point of giving me anything, any indication of this? What was the, of showing it to me, of giving me a taste of it, of putting this seed within me? What was the fucking point if it was going to be kept from me? You just feel like it was stupid. You don't see the point in it. Like, it doesn't make sense. Okay? But they're saying, I don't know, if you must have carried this with you. You might have buried it deep. You might have like put it on a shelf, but you've carried this with you. You know, as soon as you stop looking, it shows up, and you're like, "Are you fucking kidding?" Like your child walking around the corner with, you're like, now it shows up. I almost feel like it's kind of like the thing when you're looking for a pen and you need it at the moment. You can't find it. You can tear your house apart, and then 2 days later, there's a pen, and you're like, "What do I need that for now?" Like, you had to get to the point of. This happens to seers all the time. Like if you're the one that gets downloads, sometimes it seems so pointless. The shit that comes through, you're like, okay. One, half the time you're like, what am I supposed to do with that? Two, like what? That's the kind of feeling. It can get real irritating. Like, why are you telling me this? If this isn't going to be showing up into my life, or if this isn't something that I can do something about, what am I supposed to do with this information? Why? Why are you even showing me this? And you kind of have to shelf it till later, to when it makes fucking sense, to when it shows up. And it's like, it's like, why not just wait until then? What was the point in planting that seed and then allowing the chaos that ensued afterwards? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the fucking point? You could have just waited. Okay. Forces of nature favor you, rejuvenation and fulfillment. Feels like you diverted your energy, like you had to. So here's the thing. This may be something that maybe within your awareness is still present. I know I bought that thing. That's a metaphor. But you're like, fuck it, whatever. And you just keep going about your life. And it's like, then it just shows up, right? So something that you obviously went through 7 stages of grief with, because you knew it to be true. You felt like you were going crazy for a little bit. You wanted something so very bad. You know for a fact that spirit said, or a download said, or something within you said this. And you're like, okay. And chaos ensued, those 7 stages. You get to the point where it's no longer like you may still feel it within you, and you just ignore it. You're like, whatever. And you just keep going. Like, you're not giving it any water. You're not giving it much thought, but it won't 100% go away. It won't 100%. Because to this minute, I'm like, I know I'm going to find that motherfucking thing I was looking for this morning as soon as I get off of here. Like, why couldn't I have had it before I got on? So I know you're just going to be like, it's almost like this irritating thing. Ugh. I hate it when people are like, I hate that saying, as soon as you don't look for it anymore, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that's the point. It's really like they think that I don't care if you quit, like you're magically going to just stop thinking about it. That just makes you think about it more, right? And on top of that, it wasn't the fact that you stopped thinking about it. I stopped thinking about it like 10 years ago, and now it shows up. It had nothing to do with the fact that you couldn't like be pursuing it. It would, spirit was like, it's not for right now. It's not for blah blah blah. But it's almost as if like you had to be aware of this thing that's within you, a part of your fabric, a part of a knowing. Like the awareness had to come to you long before the actual thing did. Because something about the awareness in and of itself initiated a chain reaction. Some kind of trajectory change, lens change, whatever. And at this point, it just feels like it's a game, like it was a puppeteer thing. Like, what the fuck, And it's still present, but you're like, I'm not giving it any energy whatsoever. You came out the other side of whatever chaos ensued from this thing to be true 100%. And from that, you began to just live life. All the while, I feel like I'm carrying a backpack, like all the while carrying this within you still. And trying to not let it have any form of power or influence over your day to day, because you learned your lesson from the chaos that ensued when you were pursuing it incessantly. But you haven't quite put it down yet. Okay. And because I get irritated by your perseverance is rewarded. And I almost want to be like, did I have a fucking choice? I wasn't given one, is what I want to say. Something that was blocked. And then it's like, oh, now it feels a little bit like, like, are you like treating me like I'm a child? Like, I don't know. Somebody's going to be irritated by this. Just letting you know. And now your life is moving forward, and it's like suddenly it shows up and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? I say this because a temptation may lead you astray. Passion and romance await. I want to say passion and romance is no longer your goal, no longer your drive, no longer the thing that excites you. Like somebody could be like, you could look like so-and-so celebrity thinks you're so awesome. And you're like, okay. Like it's not within it doesn't excite you. It doesn't, like maybe you got burnt out on the idea and notion of it. Like you're like, I have other plans now. Like I worked through that 10 times over and I have a new trajectory. But it's almost as if this is what shows up when it's like it's meant to. Like it couldn't happen then. I hate. We all get irritated with this sometimes. There's something about now you needing to be pivoted in a certain direction. And like this leading astray is you, when they're like, no, this is taking you in the right direction. Like, we wanted this to somehow come in now because it'll take you, like, something about the events that have ensued up to this point and it showing up at this point puts you on the right trajectory or points you in the right direction. You're going to feel like whatever this is thwarting your plans, which you're going to be thoroughly irritated about. The forces of nature favor you is almost like, but now's the right time for this. You're still going to be confused about that. It's like the pen that shows up when you don't need it any longer. You're like, how is now right? How is now the right time? Or the crystal when you were looking for it because you're intending to utilize it. But then it shows up and it's no longer something that you're needing to work with. You're like, you're perplexed as to how this is supposed to be a part of your path now. But it wasn't then. And it doesn't feel, I got to be honest with you, it doesn't feel like, oh, because you're finally ready and open. And no. It has everything to do about your path and your trajectory. It was blocked before because if had it come in, maybe you wouldn't have ended up where Spirit's trying to take you. I don't think it was like you yourself wasn't ready for this passion or romance. It's as if your path wasn't. It was like, no, we don't have you aligned just right with something. And so maybe had this showed up earlier, this would have been something that would have led you astray. Okay, it's bringing in the movie The Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon and Emily Blunt. Blunt? Am I saying her last name right? I think, yeah. And where it's like they wanted to not, like, he was supposed to meet this life partner, and it was like within their fabric of their being, but things kept pulling them apart. And they were like, because we found out that, if she came into your life, you would have been satisfied then, and you wouldn't have tried, like something about it, he wouldn't have become this major change agent in society of a politician. Like with her there, he was happy. He didn't have that drive to push him to something, to be this change agent. And he would have just, settled. And like, it's like, well, why don't I get the choice in that? Right? And I feel like that's you. Like, why didn't I get that? And Spirit's like, we have something else. Like maybe you were always ready for this, but this, had it come in sooner, would have kept you from not making it to this point, something that you're meant to be aligned with. It was for the sake of something else, some other accomplishment, some other alignment that needed to happen. And it's almost like, so I would have been so content and happy and willing to let go of these other things because it wouldn't have seemed nearly as important as what I had already achieved in my life if this love or passion or whatever already showed up. And so it was withheld for that. That's what it feels like. That's what it fucking feels like. It wasn't a knock on you. This is why you knew. You fucking knew. You're like, what the? Like, there was nothing, and it made you go kind of like there wasn't anything you had to necessarily change for this to work, for this beautiful thing to come in. It was something else outside of love that you needed to be aligned with. And that's why love couldn't come in. but your perseverance working through and getting to this point, like you, by focusing on something else after you went through the whatever grief and shit you went through, by aligning with this, you have something else coming into your life that you're really meant to be aligned with, that you're meant to do. It was like you were meant for more than just love. But had love come in, you'd have been so happy with life, you wouldn't have felt compelled to take action in this direction. You'd have diverted all your energy to this. And they're like, we couldn't let that happen. There's a level of what the fuckness with this. And I don't want to make it sound like you're destined to free the world. Like, I'm not trying to make it sound like that. It's just that you were meant, like, there's something more, maybe your higher self wanted to be like a role that you're meant to step into. And you would have willingly limited yourself because you have been so content and happy. And it's weird because I feel like you're still working. Like you're just more aligned with this, but it isn't like you've achieved something and now this can come in, other than you've solidified your alignment with a path, with a timeline. It's almost like we, as a seer, we can when we tap into something for somebody, there's moments where it's like you're on a path where it could go one of 4 ways. 4 different timelines are still available because there's still choices and decisions to be made, and each one of those things kind of impact, right? And then there's times where it's like, no, this is happening. You've made all the choices and decisions and steps that you're so aligned with a particular event that's meant to happen. It's happening whether you like it or not. So it almost makes it like, now this is okay to come in. So you're so aligned with something. It is like almost assured that it will happen. And now something like this can come in. Now it'll work out, is what I want to say. Love will work out. This could be a particular person, or this could just be love in general. But it's like you're so far along down a certain path. That's why your perseverance is rewarded. Like, something tells me it's going to be more than just love that happens. But right now, when this shows up, your instinct might be that this isn't something that you're interested in, or that you feel like, it's funny because it's almost like you're like, no, I'm going towards this. And Spirit's like, you're good. You're so aligned with that shit, it's happening no matter what. Like, you know what I mean? And you're like, but I haven't achieved it yet. I don't know what you've got in your mind that you that like this is the goal, that you feel solid, you finally have achieved it. But it's like, if I couldn't have before, then why can I have it now? I haven't achieved this yet. And they're like, no, you're so in alignment with it. It's coming. Like, it's the ball's rolling. We just you needed to get far enough along this way to know that it's assured. Okay, so forces of nature favor you in rejuvenation fulfillment. Let's figure this one out. Okay. Right? It's a little irritating though, I gotta be honest with you. Because it gives the feeling of like, oh, I'm just so not, I feel like whoever that I'm reading for this is like, your energy is like, you feel like Spirit didn't have faith in you, that you could have done it. And Spirit's like, no, we just know you. Your higher self knows you. And it wasn't meant as punishment, even though it felt that way. And there's a sense of power. Like, why don't I get to decide that? But they're telling me you didn't have all the information. And if you had all the information of what else you're meant to be aligned with, you wouldn't have wanted to give that up either. So then bears a question. If you gave me the seed of understanding and knowing about this love, then why wouldn't you go ahead and give me the seed of knowing and understanding? I think that there was an element of your human that would have talked you out of it. That let's say Spirit said, okay, so there's this coming in for you, and then but this is also meant for you, and you can do both. And you'd have been like, I got it, I can do both. But your ego would have been so satisfied with this that it would have been like, man, I don't need that. Despite, and then what you would have done is entered into some kind of love, carrying the weight of the whole time, and knowing that you're meant to be with something, that you're supposed to align with something else. So maybe either way, the chaos that ensued internally was going to happen, but the best route to ensure both was this way versus the other. Okay. So let's pull some tarot now. That was a lot. We're already at freaking 35 minutes. On the split, we got the Five of Swords and the Knight of Swords. There's something about mental conflict or maybe we're talking about like mental turmoil. I want to say almost mental paralysis around something is going to change. Competing ideas or notions, that's about to change. I don't know what that has to do with, because I'm looking at the forces of nature are now favoring you for all of this. So that's why we've got rejuvenation and fulfillment. It's like in all areas and all aspects, right? Okay. Why do I feel like, then just do it already? I want to say that. Yeah, we've already established this. You're Nine of Wands energy. You're like, there's a level of like, I don't know about this shit. Looks like it's just a detour, like it's gonna detour me. If it wasn't for me then how is it for me now? Like there's just a level of skepticism is what I want to say for this. Like you're finally okay with the turbo director you're on. You've been taking the steps, and now this shows up. The fuck? At the bottom, we got the Sun. Eight of Cups. You feel like it requires you to walk away from something. That's why you're saying it's like it's going to lead you astray. You feel like it's going to require you to abandon. I think that you hold a chip on your shoulder. Because remember, when it came to, like, initially, I was like, you're looking, something you know is supposed to be for you, something you know is supposed to be for you, and everything got thwarted. It was blocked for you. It didn't happen. And so you had to give up on it, go through the grief and everything else like that. And it's like, you're like, oh, hail to the fucking no. Now that I have a new trajectory and I've been working towards this and I overcome those things, you want to thwart me again? You want to relieve me? You want like it feels like a rug being pulled out from underneath you, like it's some kind of a new trick. Like every time you work towards something that you feel called to, it's like it's this. You're like, no, I'm not walking away from this. I had to walk away from this that you're trying to bring in now a long time ago. Now you're trying to get me to walk away from this. It's like this. That's the defensiveness. There's a level of defensiveness here and untrusting. Your guard is up. You finally feel like you're in your power, Queen of Wands. You feel well rooted in your confidence, your self-worth. You know, you're back on your A game. And it's like, something about living your life exactly as you see fit. Like, when things were blocked before and you're just spinning the wheel trying to get something to happen, or to prove something that you knew to be true, it was like, that's the energy of knowing something and it not being reflected external to you, right? And this one is, you got the Hierophant. It feels like this is like your opportunity, like you're in a place where you feel like your life is starting to reflect who you really are. Your truths and your outward environment are aligning and matching. And you're like, you're hesitant, you're stopping. That's the you feel like this you've been told. I think you have an inkling now that it's trying to come back around. Passion, love, romance, a person, like it's trying to, like, it's almost like the heads up, and you like little bits of information filtering in, little bits of synchronicity, and you're like, it's a setup. Because you're getting the information. Spirit's guiding you. Spirit's telling you. We got the Page of Swords with the Star card, which is all about finding it's following your North Star. It is following the guidance. You hear, you know this. You know Spirit's like trying to prep you. Like, oh, la. And you're like, not interested. Nope. Not interested. Look at this stubbornness. Spirit's trying to guide you to something. Your level of guardedness and stubbornness, and just like, I'm good right where I'm at. I'm good right where I'm at. I mean, you're being honest. You are being honest. I gotta tell you that much. You're not. You're being honest. But like, when you can literally lose a taste for something. Like, let's use food for an analogy. You always wanted to do X, Y, and you always wanted to try X, Y, and Z dish, right? And it's like, you always wanted to go to this 5-star Michelin restaurant to try blah, 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 blah. And you never could. No matter how many years and times that you, like, you have to call like 6 months in advance to get a reservation. And then, like 1 year they called and canceled your reservation because, oh, we overbooked for the night. And it's like, I've been waiting for years for this. And you did all the right things. And finally you got to the point where you're like, man, I don't fucking care. And then you get this phone call and your friend's like, hey, I've got, I've got a reservation for a table of 4. You can come and try your blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I don't want it anymore. You ever desired something so much to the point of when you've had to finally go back through that, you go through that chaos and that those stages of grief and everything, you know what I mean? And you come out the other side and you're like, why would I even want to? I don't even have a taste for it anymore. Something so elite that I couldn't have. Like, it's like, I don't know. There's this. And so you're being very truthful and honest. This is the Justice card. And it's like, there's this, your version of justice right now, as you see it, is different than Spirit's, because Spirit's like, this is going to bring a lot of balance. What we took, we're returning. Oh, don't you love that saying that tarot readers say? What was taken will now be returned. But bitch, did I say I fucking wanted it now? Whose version of justice is this? I've lost my taste for it. So I feel like you all are at odds. How do we get beyond this? What is your... I had a reading before where it was all like spirits like trying to talk you up about the rejuvenation and fulfillment and like how good it's going to feel. And it's like, you're not going to convince me of that. So how do we get beyond that, spirit? Like, I mean, how are you going to get them out of this? Because I feel like you hear them. I got it. I got the message, spirit. I got it. The last 5 synchronicities you sent. But I can't change how I feel internally. It's like giving any level of energy or attention to the messages that are coming through, though, is even making you feel like it's leading you astray. Like, I played in that field of possibilities for so long, and I lost time because of that. Waiting, hoping, wanting, looking, searching. Like, I believed. I played in the scenarios. I allowed myself to think this. I allowed myself to, and only to not have it come through. It wasted my time. I'm not even, like, I feel like you're not even wasting any time contemplating, feeling into whatever spirit has been saying to you, the messages that have been coming through, what's been communicated to you. Okay. I'm trying to make sure, like, every time I'm like, what am I missing? Okay, so because until like these other cards, no deck is lighting up for me, and it's like, okay, so there's still something here. So let's go back to the Hierophant. You feel so good in your own skin. You feel so. It's like, why would I seek something external? Because the Hierophant is that higher level commitment, but it's also the masculine version of the spiritual, right? So it's the things that are external versus internal. And it's like, because you're in this space, things are naturally going to come towards you. All right, so let's talk a little. Give me more on the Hierophant, because I know there's a. Oh, maybe I was just avoiding it like you're doing. Maybe I was avoiding it, motherfucker. Tell me about the Hierophant. Tell me about the Hierophant. Lovers and the 9 of Cups. Are you fucking shitting me? You're pulling in exactly what you like. I just want to be so cynical and be like, oh, should I feel so grateful and wonderful? Like, I don't know. I feel that way. Like, seriously, spirit. You may be of the mind, or have been recently, where you're like, I really do not give a shit to have a higher level commitment. You may be the kind of person like, I don't ever want to get married. I'm so good all on my own. I'm finally feeling myself. I'm finally enjoying my own energy. I'm enjoying my own company. Like, I find it so essential. And it's like, this is like unappealing. You may have sworn off dating, or you just got it's unappealing. You got no drive to it. Sounds oddly familiar. They bring me back, but you know, you've never quite put it down. You're saying all this stuff, but as in the beginning, it's like this knowing, but it's always been with you, and you've tried to shove it down because you're like because of the fact that you're like, that was a waste of my time, and it kept me from having all these other enjoyments. It kept me from feeling like this, you know, and so it's like giving time to that idea, notion, fantasy, or whatever else it is, or this knowing is kind of like it wasted my time and my energy, and I'm not going to do that again. It makes you feel like you're handing your power over, but it's still not gone. It's a knowing. It's still there. It's almost like you're trying to, like with the Adjustment Bureau, rewrite in the fabric of you what is meant for you or what you desire. Because the moon is like the subconscious. It's still with you. It's still carried with you. It's still knowing. You may be asking for and attempting to find other, like to achieve other desires, but there's always this nagging feeling, right? This energy that just follows you, and it's somewhere in the depths of everything, or somewhere in the midst of all the energies that surround you of, but I'm like of this, of a life partner, of love, of, you know, and so it's kind of like you still want to shelf it. You're like, okay, I get it. It's still there, but not right now. Spirit's like, it's still part of you. Whether you want to give it time, energy, or any kind of investment or not, is still there. And it's becoming available to you. It's coming in now. 3 of Wands with the 10 of Cups. 3 of Wands with the 10 of Cups. It's coming in. Your ships are coming in. This level of joy with another person is coming in. And you're still, I don't know, 7 of Cups. Okay. How do we move beyond that? Like, what is the point of just reiterating what they already fucking know? Is it to say that it's coming, whether you like it or not? Because I feel like your energy is, I had to do whatever the fuck. Like I had no control the last time. You do feel like the rug was pulled out from your feet. Like things were done, like the Adjustment Bureau. This is what it feels like to you. Things were rerouted, things were taken, things were moved, things, you know, it's like no matter your efforts, what you wanted, you couldn't have. You kept looking and taking action and doing for the things you knew to be true. So they're showing me the Adjustment Bureau, and they're like, there is that time in that movie where they gave up too. Each just started focusing on other areas of their life and blah, 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 and things like that. And it wasn't something, they carried it with them. Like in any new relationship, in anything that they did, the guy that was the politician, he never could quite shake it, but he wouldn't give it time and energy. He kept moving forward, right? He kept going on his path. Same with her. She tried to do other relationships. She kept, improving in her career path. She kept going down this trajectory. And it was like, till one day when they crossed paths. And that thing that they were carrying around still, because they couldn't quite get rid of, this remembrance, this knowing, came back like crazy as soon as they crossed paths again. And I think maybe what's happening is you feel this way. You think that you've moved, you feel this way. Intellectually, you're perceiving it this way. But as soon as this comes into your energy, that thing that's laid dormant gets reignited. That knowing that you knew for a fact takes center stage again. Because that's what happened with them in that. And they made sure this time when they took action towards it, there was no denying it. And it's like the powers that be that kept trying to rewrite to pull them apart, even though their original story was for them to be together, finally said, okay. And I think they're saying this time around, it's an okay. Like this gets to happen. So to me, despite you feeling so much like, yeah, no, Seven of Cups, Four of Pentacles, like, Spirit is, it's like righting an injustice. Again, I feel like this is kept general because they are not really given people out in this. So this isn't necessarily it could be for some people a very specific person that things come back around, like in the Adjustment Bureau, or this could just be love in and of itself with another person. Okay, I'm being brought to Lenormand. I'm looking at that one also. Like I feel the energy popping up. It's like you felt out of control. Like everything was being done to you then when the rug was pulled out from underneath you, and it's like you had a knowing, but you didn't get to have it. Like it was like a dangling of a carrot and it got taken away. And so it's like you also are feeling a level of powerlessness. Like, no, you want to fight it. You want to fight it. Like now they're going to say you can't have it. And you're like, fuck that shit. Like you want to exert some level of control in your life because you feel like your path has not been within your control. And I want to say to a certain degree, you're right. There are elements of it that have not and elements of it that have been. You were never completely powerless. Maybe there were events, timelines that could have gone faster based upon what actions you chose or how you process things. But there were also certain things that I want to say, and some people don't believe in this, but there was interference. And the worst thing is to think that potentially that interference came from another aspect of yourself. Some people don't believe in a higher self, so Oh, cynicism in the conversations with spirit. Okay. Almost done, guys. I get a sense of knowing. We have a feminine here with the lily. Well, the lily card is like the wisdom, the experience, the discernment and understanding. But I just got like there's a sense of knowing. There's a sense of knowing. Almost. And a sense of confusion. This is simultaneous. It's like you know, but you don't know. Like you just don't, I don't know. It's that sense of I carry something, but I don't know. I don't know if I want it. I don't know. Give us any clarity, any more level of clarity, please. Hold on 1 second. It's finding a new home. It's home. You may not know if you really want it, but there's also a level of knowing when this comes in and you encounter it, that this new is home. Like, who are they to me? Home. Home's a feeling. Home's a connection. I feel like saying, for those who are like, they're always like, oh, home's within yourself. As within, so without. If you can experience home within yourself, then you are capable of experiencing home outside of yourself. I would be concerned if you couldn't experience home within yourself and then you're finding home external, because that's more probably of an attachment and a codependency than it is a sense of home, because that's really generally more ego based. The idea of getting in touch with the divinity within is to recognize the divinity without. So for me, it's not in, and I follow Hermeticism. The laws of Hermetics is that there's duality in things. If one thing can be true, the opposite can be true as well. And so if I can find home within myself, I can also connect with home external to myself. And that can be the energy exchange, especially when we're looking for somebody who matches us, who are in alignment with us, who's meant to reflect back to us and our love. So yes, I can recognize home in someone else. It does not illegitimize finding home within myself. And it doesn't mean that I don't feel at home within myself. In fact, I would say if you truly can feel and sense home external to you, then you have experienced home within yourself, because that's the only way you're able to identify it. To know what that feeling is. But you may be very hesitant to move forward, but Spirit is trying to guide you home. We got the bear, which is like, is the 9 of Wands type of energy, right? Is that guarded mother, the mother bear, like, ow, that aggressive stance. And then we have the ship, which is all about moving forward. what can you tell this person to help them do this? Like once I would say once these paths cross, explain this. I'm picking up something, but I want them to clarify this. I got that song, Someone Take Me Home. Like, I can't remember what that, home, a place that I don't even know the fucking song, y'all. Really, but it's like, it's going in and out. A place that I belong. I'll have to look it up. I am getting an interruptive energy here. I'm getting an interruptive energy here. I am also... This feels like it's a side story. Like there's a mother-daughter relationship here showing up. We got the two females here, and this is I'm getting it because these other cards came out. And this would be wisdom, so that'd be the older female. And then you've got the younger, trying to figure things out kind of a female. We've got this, which is, again, remember the mother energy, very protective. Something about... I don't know if somebody's mother is going to help them. I don't know why this is coming through. This is not part of the other message, but if I don't get it out, it won't leave. Someone's mother might help them start anew and move. Which could be a part of two people crossing paths again. It's the weirdest thing, guys, because we do have like a new home here. What I said before about these cards still stands. They're not changing them. They're giving more detail. And it's like this mother figure might help you to move. Because we have the pathway, mature woman, main female, and a gift showing up. And I was like, clarify the mature woman and the main female, because that feels like the mother-daughter dynamic. And so this must be like a sidebar for somebody. And then we've got journey. Like somehow somebody's mother might be intervening, helping them get to where they need to be so that this encounter can happen. Because when I'm telling you, love is absolutely a possibility. Lovers, I swear to God. I put it back because that was like a really weird, interruptive kind of message. That happens sometimes. I had a reading I did when I used to do live readings on here for people, personal ones, where it was like out of nowhere, some message about receiving something and somebody passing. And I was like, I don't really like this energy. Had nothing to do with the original message, but it was almost like a sidebar, like another spirit had kind of come in and wanted to deliver something really quick since the channel was open. And she came back 3 weeks later and was like, oh my God, you remember when you were like, I don't know, this is a completely different mess. And it was like, it had happened. I was like, oh, nothing that anybody could have done. But there were some things that happened as a result. She received some things, and it was just the weirdest shit. And sometimes spirit will do that. So I get in more trouble when I try to avert those interruptive messages. It actually detracts me and just, like whatever more. So I just have to give it, and then we'll get back to shit. Although now I'm a little curious. I'm like, this motherfucker still is showing up no matter what I do. Thank you. Is it by BB Rexa? I hear a male's voice. Home, a place where I belong. Okay. All right. What is this? There's a courthouse card. Okay, explain. It's the weirdest thing. Something has hijacked this because I've got courthouse. Courthouse came out with courtship. And I'm over here going, I'm getting random messages for just everybody at this point, right? When we get more into the details, they give me all kinds of different scenarios. I'm like, okay. I did want to know, like, we went down the route of like paths are going to fucking cross, and that's how it's going to happen. And you feel very resistant, you feel very whatever. But that's going to change. This thing's going to come up even more. And then it's like, well, what does the person have to, like, what's going to happen? What are they going to do? And we have the courthouse with the courtship. Courthouse is also, it can be anything from legal documents to legal processes to negotiations, compromises, things like that, right? And then courtship is all about meetings, okay? And then we have, this is like a new person coming into your life, crossing paths, new contacts, business meetings, dating, social, that kind of stuff, right? But then I was like, okay, well, what is the courthouse? I don't understand. And then imprisonment came out. And I can't help. Like, I'm getting a random message again, and I don't know if I want to pick up this deck anymore because it keeps giving me very random shit. Like, it feels like somebody being legally bound. Like, there's some kind of, like, legal binding something standing in the way of this. Yeah. Standing in the way of meeting this person. Like, is there a contract that has you stuck? something is keeping a feminine in the same old, day to day, blah, 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 blah kind of thing. Same old, day in and day out. You're stuck in the same loop, same routine, same whatever. It's keeping you, whatever this is keeping you in a pattern hold. Like, I'm waiting for the moment where this makes sense with what we were talking about up to this point. And they're just like, just keep going. It's keeping you in the lack of not receiving, of not having the scales balanced. Are you so focused on this, like what's in front of you, and the part of your resistance to passion and romance is because you are bound, like you have a legitimate lack within your life that you're having to focus on and keep moving forward to? So like your focus has been on that path, and that's what, and the reason that you're in this loop constantly of having to only focus on that is because something has kept you tied up, something has kept you bound, kept you in place, something has kept you limited, like some type of actual contract, agreement, legal document, something. And it's preventing you, because of that, from crossing paths, because your day-to-day is constantly consumed with this. And so that's why you would see love as a potential, like, oh, you want me to lead myself astray now? Like, why now? Why is it coming in now, kind of thing? Like when I have to put my focus somewhere else. But they're bringing me back to the idea that you're so far along on this path, it's happening. Like, it's happening. You don't have to worry about it. So it's almost like you're worried about, like, I got to keep going. Got to keep doing this. Got to keep whatever, because you feel like you're missing something. And so if you deter your energy from this, or your focus from this, things will falter or fall apart. You're like, I've got to attain something. Remember I said there's like this goal. You think that you got to reach it. And they're like, no, it's coming. Like, I feel like it's coming to you. That might be the Queen of Wands energy. And they're saying, no, it's coming to you. So you absolutely can put your energy to this, because like maybe nothing can thwart that. Like, something has kept you bound from meeting somebody else. Like, you're so stuck. And to me, with the courthouse, it's like, it's either an existing agreement, it is something binding, is what I want to say. Any kind of court orders, any kind of contracts, any type of agreements, whether it's lease or anything else like that, has kept you in a particular place or space that is actually, maybe your trajectory is to get out of that. And so you're hyper focused, and you're like, I haven't really done it yet. And they're like, guess what? You've done so much work to get out of something, or to get on a certain path, that it's coming. You don't have to be worried about it, but you don't see it yet. And you're like, you keep telling me this, and I don't think that this is where I need to, you know what I mean? And I was like, why fucking now? Why would I? Because you're still seeing it as being like this rug that can be pulled out from underneath you. But something about, I feel like, where you're stuck is keeping you from having this, from this encounter, from those crossing of the paths. And it almost makes me feel like that's somewhat intentional, but not Spirit's intent. Like, as before, where like something has been blocked for you, that was intentional then, to get you in alignment with whatever path or trajectory you're on right now. This sounds very confusing. You are like, I'm still in the downside of this, and I'm still stuck trying to work as hard as I can to get to this goal. And they're like, actually, you've done what is necessary to keep, you're very much in alignment, and this thing is coming to you as much as you're moving towards it. So anything new that comes in is not going to be a distraction, just so that you're aware. But you're like, I still have these binds on me. And so forgive me if I don't necessarily trust you all. Because before I was so fucking convinced of something and then it never came to fruition. So like the idea of like you don't get a lot of reassurance when spirit tells you something. And spirit's like, this needs to happen. This needs to happen. And so we come back to the other one where it was like a home, like a home move. Like something happens, a new home. Like a new home. Okay, come on. What are we doing here? Like maybe that message of a motherly type figure, and I guess it doesn't necessarily have to specifically be your mother, but the fact that they are heavily bringing out the idea of like an older woman and a younger woman, like this dynamic of someone willing to help you. They want to protect, it's a protective energy. And this is about moving, taking you there, going the direction. This is getting specific now. Clarify, Spirit. Is this a mother dynamic or is this like, what is this? This could be a spirit guiding you. We did have the star card. You've got messages coming through that you're ignoring. And the star card is like spiritual guidance. It could be a passed over person, an ancestor, like a feminine energy on the other side that is very protective of you. So if it's not someone present, you very well, they're trying to help you get unstuck from this. Maybe instead of fighting the messages that are coming through or the synchronicities, remember when I said you're not playing in the field of possibilities, you don't want to give it time and energy, like just let it happen. I think they're saying maybe tap in when those messages start coming through, when they start filtering and you're like, kind of thing, like actually listen, because there's probably more to the message and the information than what you're aware of. They're trying to help guide you. Because that was really weird. I was like, what is a mother? Like, what the fuck? A motherly person or motherly energy. It may not be directly your mother. So again, this could be a guy that approaches you in a very nurturing, motherly, protective energy. More wizened. They've got the information that you don't know. Okay, I'm getting it. Okay, I was so in your energy of resisting the hearing. It was like, like I felt so, and it's like, you need to tap back in. When those messages are coming through, there's more to it than what, it's like you hear the initial or get the initial and you attach it to that and you're like, and they're like, there's so much more to this. You need to tap back in. You need to allow it. This is you blocking. I don't know. That's a 7 of Cups energy. Like you're not hearing it correctly. There's wisdom and information trying to be bestowed to you that you're not getting because you close off too quickly. Like you get some sense of this and you're like, no, you're cutting yourself off too quickly. If you've made it this far, you're meant to hear this part. There's a plan in place. Ooh, they're trying to help you. Because the thoughts card is like the things that preoccupy us, but it's also about analyzing, structuring, organizing, planning. Okie dokie. To get you where these paths cross. See, that's where you're resistant. But there's something in getting these paths to cross, this meeting to occur, that will help and aid in getting you unstuck from where you are I just heard legally bound to. So for some people, there is like you feel like you're really bound to something. But that binding, that limitation is actually what keeps you in this. Okay. We're cracking this after a fucking hour. I said pull this other one. When am I gonna, okay, not yet. Tap in. Do not automatically dismiss those messages. It's like, when you talk to your mother and you turn and you listen to them and they start to, as soon as they start, the first sentence you're like, I already fucking know where this is going. No. You're like, oh, as a child, you're just like, oh, and you're like, nope, done shut down this conversation already. Don't. Whether this is a real person or like for a lot of you, it is a spiritual person. That's why I was like, what is this mother dynamic? They're like, oh, no, Shauna, God, let me read. And it's like, yeah, like, don't cut it off. Listen. See, you're cutting it off. 8 of Swords came just before the Page of Swords with the information. You're like, you're not open to it. You need to open to it. Okay. I feel the need to tell somebody that they like make a very concerted effort and intention to set time aside, sit down and say, okay, I'm willing to listen and just meditate. And even in that meditation, the message may not come through, but you're prepping yourself in that meditation, like giving yourself, like really opening yourself to what can come through, will allow it to. So it's almost like the preparatory work, like clear the pathways so the rest of it can come through. Make it an intention to pay attention to all that wants to come through with this message. Don't shut down or turn away with the initial, what you wanted is about to come up. Listen, because there's so much more in this. Because here's the thing, as a human, I'm going to tell you, with any type of encounter, you still have full control, right? Like you feel like, no, I'm not. They're trying to do something that's going to take me out of my power, and they've already done that once, and I'm not going to listen to them because blah blah blah, right? And so like you're like they're saying, you're like, I already know, like they're going to try and get me to go this direction, blah blah blah, and it's like actually, in the least, something about this encounter will also help you with what you're working on right fucking now. Remember in the beginning, I said something about this had to align with that, and this had to be taken care of first, but somehow they both intersect at the right point. They're connected somehow. I mean, by all means, if after this encounter and that the part of you is still reignited and you're like, it's a no, you get to choose. But how about be an allowance to know what you're choosing first and foremost? Because when you shut it down, what are you really not choosing in this by shutting it down? You hear one element of the entire thing and you're like, no. And it's like, but when you do that, you say no to some other things as well. And some of that might be financial freedom, abundance. And that doesn't necessarily mean that this person gives it to you. There's just something about being on the path to cross paths with this person. I know. You had to, it was blocked initially. It's coming back up again. You're like, but I've been over here focusing on this. Why is this showing up now? I went through all the stages of grief. I gave up on it. And it's like, I really don't want to hear this. I don't even want to play in the field of possibilities. Because of whatever, like I'm just on this trajectory, and you feel like if you even remotely divert, then this path won't happen. And like it will, but somehow it's like the crossing of them again, you'll still have ultimate choice, but you don't know what all you're saying no to. And while you don't have to be worried, I feel like there is a trajectory that you're on with what you've been focusing on, and you're so far along, like Spirit's like, you're good, you don't have to be so worried now. But maybe what you're heading towards will just get that much easier. Something about not being bound and limited would make this move so much faster. Because right now, it's a bit more of a struggle, which is why you're concerned. And they're trying to help you with your plan. And this is one of those things where it's like, okay, what you're saying makes sense, but then again, it doesn't, Spirit. And you're only really going to know what this really means if you do it, is what I want to say. Okay, now they want me to go to this. Okay. Last bit, and then we're done. Holy shit. Some of these are just so... I shit you fucking not. I told you, didn't I say you need to stop and meditate? Open yourself up. Have a conversation with Spirit. Give the grace and allowance for the full message to come through. It literally says meditation may provide answers. Quit turning it away. Quit cutting the message off before it fully comes through. Allow it to fully develop and show to you. We got the Nine of Wands again. Nine of Wands also does indicate perseverance. And it says, don't give up. And it's like, they're like, don't give up on this so quickly. Allow for the full message to reveal itself. Allow for answers to come in. This has something to do with helping you with your plan. Okay. Sometimes we dive so deep into people's... And you know what's so funny? Sometimes it can sound so specific, and then I get fucking messages from people, and it's like the scenarios and ways this plays out. I'm like, oh, damn. Like that one that I had about the mountains with the water, or the one that I gave on Thursday or Friday or Wednesday. I don't fucking remember. Where we were talking about, it was like the motherly energy. Oh, bitch. Oh my God. We were talking about what it's like to be a mom and like feeling like you're running out of time with your child and wanting to give them all of these things and da-da-da. Wow. Yeah, okay. Go watch those, because I didn't make no fucking connection between them and this, and because I was talking about an energy of like a mother feeling like I've only got so much time left to give them what they need so that they can make this happen. And it's like time was of the essence there, and they don't want their child to miss out. Like there was a whole other message, but there was that to it too. There's some answers here. You have been cutting off because you didn't want to hear it because this came back up, but they're like, hear me out. Listen to the whole thing, please. You need to tap back in and allow them to explain everything to you. Allow the full understanding of things to come through. There's aspects of a plan formulating and happening that you need to be aware of. And then bring me back to the home thing, like a new home. There's a new home. You may have a new home, but it's weird because there's something connected to, it's like in a new home, you find a new home. You find home. You find a person that feels like home. What is this 8 of Wands here for? Maybe so whatever plan is unfolding, whatever is coming back up, where your perseverance is paying off, things are going to move very quickly. But also 8 of Wands is about communication. And right next to it, we have the High Priestess. It's like you have the capacity to receive so much. You don't trust some of the things that you received before because they gave you the download long before it was ever meant to happen. And it felt like it rocked your world. And you're like, what was even fucking the point? Like, why? And so it's like now you're in the energy of just fucking do it then. Don't give me. And it's like, no, you need to open up. You have the capacity. You're High Priestess. You have that connection. You need to allow the full message to come through, and you need to play in that field of possibility, in that dream state, that meditative state, and allow something to show itself fully to you. I get somebody who sees things in their third eye. You know, it's like, and sometimes you just want to shut down to it because you're like, why? Why are you telling me this? Kind of thing, right? And it's like, because it's pertinent, because things are playing out in a plan, and you need all the information. Okay, because you say no to something, you might be saying no to more than what you realize. And yes, you're on a very, very specific trajectory, but something that you feel is going to be lead you astray is really meant to come in. And there's more than just meeting a person, a home. Like maybe involved in that is a home move. And there is a mother figure helping in this process. The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, maybe this isn't an actual mother. Maybe it is a female spirit guide, a feminine guide, or someone that has passed over that is trying to help you with this. So they're trying to get a message across to you. And when we, like, the things that are going to come through is the justice, the balancing of the scales. Okay. Fucking star card again. Yeah. They're trying to help you. They're trying to help you. And the sun. So basically, parts of this plan that you're trying to, like, there's events that are going to become unfolding. You need to hear the messages that are coming through. They're coming directly from spirit. You need to listen to the entire full message. Delays are over, so missing out on this information could remove certain elements from this, and they want you to be aware of everything that's possible and what saying yes and no actually means in this moment, okay? We have the Six of Pentacles, where the potential to balance things out is present. On this, it talks about like career opportunities, gifts of time, money, effort, like that kind of stuff. It's like, but it balances things out. It is the justice that needs to happen. And it's like, trust the guidance you're getting, because it is going to lead you to success. It is going to give you so much more clarity. Like the Star card is following spiritual guidance. They're trying to help keep you on the right path. They want to lead you to success and a happy outcome. So you've been blocking the full message, because as soon as, like you do with your mother, you hear any inkling of this, because it's almost as if you just instinctively, intuitively know this is about to come back up again, and you really don't want to deal with it. But because love, or the potential of connection with somebody that feels like home, is wrapped up in all these other things that Spirit's trying to create, it's just wrapped up in. And your dedication to moving forward on this one particular timeline is exactly what you needed all along. And they're really glad that you're here. But again, anybody who's a seer knows, if you start cutting off, like, I'm going to listen to this, but not this, not this, not this, you start to cut off all kinds of things that are trying to come through. And you need to not do that. Yes, this encounter is a part of all of that they're trying to tell you, but it's not just that. And so you need to open yourself back up. You need to sit down. You need to have a conversation with them. And if they bring this back up, don't automatically shut the conversation down again. Okay? Okay. That's enough. Like, that's enough. You do with that what you want to. Okay? Sometimes these things go on a wild ride. Can I just say that? Wow, that's fucking rad. Hope this message reaches whoever it's meant for. Sit down. Open yourself up. A conscious effort at that. Because there is definitely something coming through. And it's more than what you realize, and you're cutting yourself off from all the information, okay? All right. I have no clue what you said, girlfriend. I'm over here like, Girl, me too, actually. The whole, like, you know my situation very well. What do you kind of thing. Like, I ain't even playing this game with you. Not always, but sometimes. All right. Well, hope that makes sense, and you've been given the information. Do with it what you will. And have a fantastic, wonderful day.